morning, good afternoon, peace and blessings. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day, start to the week, Monday morning. I'm running on a little sleep because of course I was up all night last night watching the watching the markets, watching Bitcoin tumble, watching all the rest of this do the same thing. So I ain't really got a lot of sleep last night. But nonetheless, you know what? That doesn't change anything because it's still Monday. So regardless, the show must go on. And thankfully, I'm still a part of the show. I'm still here. By the grace of God, we're still here. The show must go on. But let's talk about something, man. Let's talk about how right now, and I'm gonna just say, like, with everything that is actually going on, everything that's going on, turn on the news, you'll hear there's just way more crap happening with this administration, with all of this stuff. And you gotta ask yourself, like, yo, man, this is too much. This is like overkill. This is like, this is one of those things where you're getting hit with so many rights, you're begging for a left over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, and then that makes me think, like, yo, man, is it setting you up? It's setting you up for something. It's setting us up for something, man. You're getting hit with, like I said, you're getting hit with so many rights, you're begging for a left. And that's what the news seems that if you're watching the news, yeah, you're getting hit with so many rights, you're begging for a left. Well, now here comes the left. Boom, Bitcoin drops. Didn't see that coming, did you? The whole market dropped, right? It's crazy, man. This is what I'm talking about, man. There's a lot of distractions from one day to the next with, everything that just is going on. It makes you think, like, bro, man. It makes you think, what is going on? Who's the puppet master making all this stuff happen? Everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? There's always something going on behind the scenes. But ultimately, there's an explanation, and I don't have it. You got people that are, yeah, you got an answer for everything. I'm dumbfounded, like a lot of people, when I see this stuff. When I wake up and I look at the charts, when I go, and I'm like, you kidding me? Like, wow. So just the psyche, you know what I'm saying? People's got to have, a tolerant mindset. Because, if you could tolerate all these lefts, you'll be all right. Because then when the right comes, you know what I'm saying? You'll take that just like you was taking all them lefts. So, shout out to you, man, if, you're not shocked by some of this stuff that's happening, And be told, man, nothing really surprises me anymore, man. You know, I would not be surprised if Bitcoin does go to $250,000 by the end of this year. Good morning. How you doing? I would not be surprised. And to be honest with you, I mean, I'm not making price predictions, but at one point in time, people would give price predictions of where they saw the markets headed. You know, oh yeah, it's going to this, is going to go to that. People say, are you crazy? It's never going to happen. Well, eat the words. Eat those words. You know what I'm saying? They still chewing on that crap. And, you know, just don't, you know, don't fool yourself. But expect the unexpected now, because that's the time that we live in. Some things, you know what, you can read into it, and I'm like, bro, I expected that to happen all day long. I expected that to happen. You know, maybe I wasn't in a position to be able to be the guy to catch the ball, right? But you know, I was expecting to see something like this. But it's still early, and we still have opportunity. But you just can't turn a blind eye or a deaf ear, right? Keep your head on a swivel, man. You know what I'm saying? Willow is the best. Say now go on and subscribe. He said, I'll subscribe to you if you say Willow's the best. Willow's the best. You know, that was easy. Got me another subscriber. Well, glad to have you, sir. What the heck? Weather's pretty fine, and shout out to you. It's not bad at all. It's starting to cool off. This is the time of year right here, you know, as fall season comes in. You know what I'm saying? We still have some hot weather, but at least it's kind of cooler at the, you know, the early part of the day and late in the evening. It'll cool down. You know, you had people that, you know, was sleeping in their cars and stuff, and it's 100 and something degrees outside, man. So the weather has, you know, begun to, you know, ease up a little bit. Hold on, let me grab my paperwork from you real quick. But it can also change on the dime, man, because, you know, so I just was hoping to get you guys, you know what I'm saying, up here today to, I mean, has anybody saw what happened with the price of Bitcoin, or you guys don't care about that? Like, I mean, are you interested? Is something that sparks your interest? You know, I bring you that kind of content, because I'll discuss it with you. And if I had, you know, a crystal ball, I would tell you, like, hey, go buy it. It's going to go up tomorrow. But I don't got no crystal ball, so, you know what I'm saying? That's ain't really true. If any one of you guys got a crystal ball, please, by all means, let me know what the price is going to be like tomorrow, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of losing money in this market. It's time for me to make some damn money. I'm tired of working so hard. Let me pull over and do my paperwork, so I get a couple more minutes with y'all. You know, I'm not going to stay up here too long. Really quick, you know, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is going to happen next, man. Because, like I said, you kind of can expect some things based off of the climate and stuff, what's going on out here. That's like, you know, if you know layoffs are coming around, like it may not be today or tomorrow, but you already see that, you know, crap is starting to roll downhill, and, you know, everybody start tightening up and stuff because they don't want to be the next one on the chopping block. And that's the kind of vibe I'm getting right now with a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? what's happening out here, and see what's going on. It's been mass shootings. Yeah, the internet's terrible. Uh, I say it's a necessary evil because we do need to use the internet to do some research and stuff on things. But it's sad to see how, the state of the country is going. I'm starting to get, I'm getting the energy that Trump can talk about Joe Biden all he wants. He look like he's look like he's falling apart too. You know what I'm saying? Schizophrenia, delusional, scary, sometimes, the old, he's scared, call the cops. He said, shit, call the National Guard. He's scared. Like, for what? I don't think there's that much crime in D.C. anymore. There's a lot of drugs out there, but the crime, I don't know, man. They said the crime was coming down. Even the mayor said that, but, what type of crime? Violent crimes or petty crime? So there might be a lot more petty crime. And if it's petty crime, petty theft, homelessness, how are you going to make homelessness a crime? So there's probably more homelessness going on than there's crime. So since there's a big problem with homelessness, you're going to call the National Guard because you're scared? I don't know. I don't. People do what they do, and I don't know why they do it. But it sure looks that way to me. As much as, and then during the first administration, it's pretty much the same criminals, the same crime, the same group of people, probably the same set. Them people still live down the road from where they live right down the street from the projects is right down the street. I went to the Million Man March, right? The projects is right down the blocks. Maybe ain't the same people still there, because that was a long time ago. But it was the next generation. You got 2 generations of people still living in the projects. Third generations, they're still doing the same thing. What are they doing? Petty hustling. There's a lot of violence out there. Now, don't get me wrong, but is it necessary to pull the big guns out? I'm gonna say this before I, kind of like, we can keep the discussion open. And so, let me see. How's the truck business? Good or bad? I ain't even give it for my wife. Should I leave my girlfriend for my wife? I ain't giving out financial advice. I said financial advice. I'm not giving out relationship advice. All right? Trying to hold things together in my own relationship. You know what I'm saying? This finances done put strain on people. People leaving they their partners that they've been with, for financial reasons. It ain't got nothing to do with the, matters of the heart. They're like, no, you broke. I'm leaving you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know, man. Can't give you relationship advice. I'm still trying to hang in there with my old lady, man. And this girl comes from a family with money. But fortunately, they didn't give nothing to us. Or me, anyway. You see, I said the us word, right? It ain't looking like that, They said it ain't the fact. Yeah, I know, right? So, I don't know, man. Fake it till you make it, sir. I don't know what to tell you. You still getting breakfast in bed? If not, move on. You ain't getting nothing in bed if you ain't getting no breakfast. I'll let you go. But I believe that Donald Trump has thyroid issues. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say, he talk about Biden. He's about to be pretty much He's deteriorating in front of us. We're going to see, everybody's going to watch it. I don't even know if he's going to finish the term. I voted for him. Okay? I voted for the change that I thought that he was going to make to the country, much like so many other people. And, you know, everybody's like, oh, man, then you guys, like, you voted for him. Bro, time out for all of that. All right? Let's look at some of the facts here. Right now, we have a president who is delusional. I mean, this is, I don't even want to start badgering the man. You know what I'm saying? He's up in age. So, everything that he did to help the crypto, you know what I'm saying, industry become more mainstream and get the adoption, we applaud you for that, especially any of us that have invested interest in the markets, because the previous administration, it looked like they didn't even care. They weren't trying to help push. They were allowing the suppression of that market. So we're going to take it back to where, you know, he says, oh, well, you know, I'm going to make crypto, the United States, the crypto hub of the year. And he did that. Things he did that we applaud him for, but then there's things he's promising people that he did or said he's going to do, he's not doing, like fuel prices. I've talked to truck drivers, for the guy that asked about the trucking thing. Okay, is the business good or not? Man, let me tell you something, man. I always talk to owners. I talked to a guy this morning, you know what I'm saying? I got my coffee, of course. I stopped at the Pilot this morning, so, you know, usually do Circle K or one of these places, whatever, when I get my coffee on my way into work. And I talked to a driver, you know, just, I have a way of bringing conversation up. You know what I'm saying? I've never been the type of person that will stutter over my words when it comes, if I approach the female and want to compliment, you know, old school way. Like, hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been scared to get turned down. You know, I'm gonna shoot my best shot. And, you know, I'm confident because I'm the best looking dude in the truck. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So I'm talking to the dude. I just go up to a guy and just randomly start talking about coffee. Well, he's making instant coffee. So he's like, oh, it's instant coffee. So I'm like, oh, that's not bad. I should do the same thing. I still do. I have instant coffee at home. I just lost my mug. I said, if I save up how much money, if I add up the money that I save over the month for the coffee that I would have purchased, you're looking at about $60. Maybe. He said, man, it's rough out here. But he didn't have to tell me that. I could look at him and tell it's rough. And he's the owner operator, right? So, you know, we got into a little discussion about, you know, the rates, the fuel, and we talked a little bit. It's my turn. Yes, I did. I gotta turn it that way around. I forgot I could go the other way. It's a lot easier if I go that way. I can go this way. There's the other truck right there. He's going this way, so I'm gonna go this way too. I'll come back that way. But as it stands currently right now, you know, I definitely know that because of the tariffs, stuff like that, you know, I'm hearing that you still got $4 fuel prices. You know what I'm saying? California fuel prices are through the roof. You know, everything that's all this, you know, and it's like, you think that they will have more focus on, you know, lowering, you know, going after the big oil companies. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need to be too tied up in foreign affairs, man. Even though everybody, they got NATO? Can't NATO or somebody kind of get in the middle of what's going on with Zelensky and Vladimir? Can't, you know, why does the U.S. have to stick our nose in their business over there? Oh, because of what? Because it's the Russian government that's trying to take over. I guess Zelensky's asking for help. Why does it? Let them join NATO so that way we can get out of there, and then we can focus on home, help our, start lowering the prices of fuel, so that industries can thrive again, like the trucking industry, the backbone of this country, needs to thrive again. So, but the fuel is one of the underlying factors that determines your spread, your margin of your profit margin, right? The fuel. And that's because when they started to put those, like tariffs, but when they implemented the fuel surtax in the trucking industry, so they started raising up these fuel prices because they know they got these companies that they can audit to see how much fuel they're using. They're like, well, it's going to take the same amount of fuel that it takes. 100 gallons is 100 gallons. So it's going to take 100 gallons. Well, how much per gallon? So now we're just, they're sticking the fangs. They've been stuck the fangs in the trucking industry on the profit margin. They've been stopped you from making money, off of your fuel. They've been stopped that unless you can opt into some type of a fuel discount, surcharge or surplus. You surcharge from the manufacturer, but a lot of times those prices, they're hidden in the rate, or they're not even included. It's not figured in. It's not figured in. So now you wind up having to bite the bullet afterwards because you see how much fuel you actually need or you use. I'm gonna tell you, guys I work for, very, very smart. They know the business. They ain't no new jacks to the game because they got their own fuel. They get their own fuel. They buy it for a fraction. But you and me and every other truck driver gonna pull up to the pump at Love's and Pilot and Circle K. You know what I'm saying? Or any of the truck stops. Even the fuel cards that you might have through your dispatch company or your factoring company, they still taking a cut. So you ain't really saving too much of nothing. And then what kind of rewards do you get? So for the overall truckers that are independent, that have a small company that they're running, they're still struggling, bro. But shout out to you if you're gonna keep on keeping on, man, because you know what? You gotta pay the bills, man. Like I said, man, it's Monday. Show got to go on, man. Whether or not you got enough sleep over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? And but shout out to you, man, if you're keeping the wheels turning, man. Turning and burning, man. That's all it is out here for a lot of guys, man. Where the profit at? Probably not gonna see it on every low, but just gotta be pray no breakdowns. And I remember I've been there. I done did it. My boy, like I said, Tommy Fat Check, my boy Tommy, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. He just finished paying off his truck. All right, he got his authority. And ain't nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? Having your own, you can do what you want. I told him, man, you can do what you want, man. Tommy's a good dude, man. He's a hard worker, too, But it's just like, like so many other guys that I know. Very hard workers. But it don't seem like that's appreciated no more, man. Because very few places will genuinely, show you that appreciation if you put in the work for them. They're gonna get comfortable with you doing the work, and that's what they're gonna expect out of you all the time. And I get that. Like you hired a hard worker, so you expect them to be just that. Like somebody that's gonna go, do the job, man. Just get some work done today, And it's really tough out here for a lot of independent guys, and for a lot of these companies too, man. A lot of companies that are. You would think they're too big to fail. And And depending on what happens with, some people are basically their success is contingent based on, how interest rates, move, because, everything is kind of leveraged, or over leveraged, when you got to balance your spreadsheets and stuff, like, look at these banks. A lot of banks, man, they're gonna mess around, and crumble, man. They're cracking at the seams, man. They're cracking at the seams, a lot of banks. And the same thing that'll take them down can take down any company. High interest. You know what I'm saying? Can't meet that profit margin because of all of this other crap, the cost of doing business. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? You want to get the wind beneath your wings, and kind of fly and take off and soar, man, when you get in business. You don't want to start your business out, you know what I'm saying, and be in over your head. So I told my boy, I was giving him some advice. I told him, I said, listen, man, he's like, I already know what you've been going through. I'm starting to go through it myself. And I'm saying to myself, you don't know the half, my friend. You don't know the half. You just now, this is your first rodeo getting out here. You got to make it through a year. You just got the truck. You've been trucking for a while, but I'm saying you gotta weather these storms. And there's gonna be some storms that's gonna come. So just know that, I still encourage him, man. I try to give him every little bit of information that I can because he's new, and the game, man. There's people that been in. You can always learn something new every day. I don't care how long you've been in this game. Driving trucks, owning trucks, running a fleet. You know what I'm saying? Working as a manager. At a company or doing something, whatever. And you always learning new stuff every day, man. I learn new stuff every day, man. Some of the stuff, you think you would have known. You think you would have known some things. Because I don't know everything. Only thing I do know is, whatever challenges come my way, I'm going to spearhead and take on those challenges and try to overcome those things. You see, because I'm a fighter. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going down swinging, man, and kicking. Swinging, kicking, cussing, and spitting. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a fight. You know what I'm saying? My teeth going to be like this and claw and everything. You name it. I got to fight to get, the results that I'm after, man. It's never just fold. It's never just give in, I know this one chick, this girl I know and stuff, she said she never gives in. She never folds. I'm looking at her saying to myself, she was fine too. Right? I'm like, and that kind of attitude right there, I don't know if that's gonna get you anywhere. But I think she was just very strong minded. But sometimes people get made up in their mind that they're gonna just be a certain way in life, and that's because maybe some things they might have went through or had to endure. So that's probably why. Because a lot of these women you meet, man, they're broken. They're broken. They're broken. They're ruined. You know what I'm saying? Sadly, they've been broken by somebody that was no good. So, but we don't want to go into all of that. I don't want to talk about that. I just was using that one woman as an example. Simply because, like I said, there's challenges out here in life. You know what I'm saying? That people are just going to have to endure. You got to be strong. And, giving in is not an option for some people. But it shouldn't be an option. You don't never want to give in, man. Especially if you know that you can do better. As long as you continue to fight, don't accept any like. But when you're talking about fuel prices, don't accept. I mean, find the best place that you got to use all your discounts. You got to, and I think something that I didn't do where I should have did, and I learned after the fact, right? Every single discount that's out there. These guys use the Mud Flap app. If you know about Mud Flap, put a like in the comment for the truck drivers that use that app to save money at the pumps. Like you get cash back and stuff like that. These things are helping these guys, man, make it where they otherwise they're not getting a break. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what is this administration doing? Like, what's taking them so long to address these fuel prices? They're a lot more worried about, whether or not somebody speaks English and they're driving a truck than they're worried about the fuel prices. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it. I understand. Like, you just had a tragic accident where a truck driver makes an illegal U-turn. It's posted right there. No U-turns. He does it anyway and instantly causes loss of 3 lives in an instant. So you're not do that right here. That's what the sign says. And because of cases like these, when they hit the mainstream media, it go viral, everybody look at that. Of course, that's unacceptable. Of course, the family's gonna, get a lawyer. They're lawyered up, and they're gonna make all kinds of, this happened, and that justice needs to be served. And in a case like that, they're gonna handle that. They're gonna take care of them people quick, right? The company, of course, I don't know. The company gonna get fined. You guys done lost their jobs and probably gonna go to jail. Probably ain't never gonna be able to drive again, and they're done, right? We got other issues that we need to take a look at too, though, surrounding this industry. Yeah, I gotta cut you off because you need to slow down. It's not that fast like that. You know what I'm saying? Let people merge. These people come around these roundabouts too fast, man. You gotta hurry up and cut over and get in front of them, or else they're not gonna slow down. They're coming around here like this is the racetrack. This ain't bumper cars. You don't want to bump into this. I'm trying to get out and get around and go. I know there's no illegal U-turn, but I gotta merge into traffic. But why should I have to accelerate like that? You should only be going in a roundabout, give or take 5-10 miles an hour, so that all the cars can merge and come around. These people come around like, I'm like, bro, I thought it was my turn. So let you run into this truck, you're gonna know that you were speeding. I'm not even gonna do all of that in the roundabout. I literally slow it down, make sure that traffic, see, that's how you control traffic behind you. Slow down, you guys, right? Or eat the bumper. Keep a distance, keep a safe distance. Driving around that, a roundabout like that. And let the other car merge. That's why there's always so much traffic. But back to what I said, so these guys made an illegal turn. The laws of the road are clear. However, they disregarded those rules, those laws, that speed limit, or whatever the case may be. That sign that said, the sign was right there. Had a U-turn sign with a no slash through it. Nope, can't do it. Well, they did it anyway. cost a lot for 2 people, man. 3 people, I'm sorry, three people, man. Devastated the family. Devastated the family right there. That's devastating. So it's not like we don't have a spotlight on this administration has their eye on the trucking industry. But they're trying to, do all this changing of the regulations. Oh, you have to speak this kind of language, you have to be fluent, if not, blah, blah, blah. All right. If you're going to do that, okay, DEF, they changed the law, you don't have to have DEF. Okay, that's going to lower the cost of the trucks. Hours of service or whatever the case may be, if they're going to look at all these different aspects of trucking and make it better, make trucking great again, all right? They're going to try to do an overhaul of the trucking industry to make it more profitable. Make it more profitable because it's not profitable. People go and buy these expensive trucks. They can't. Their profit margin. You look at the profit margin and how much they pay for their trucks. You're like, man, you're not even gonna break even this year. Unless you get a better contract. Like, the regular spot market is nowhere to be if you're just getting into the market, into the game. But for some people, they'll take it because why? They got cash trucks. They're just trying to get some money back. For other people, man, this ain't enough to make my payments and support my family and maintain the truck. Gotta get fuel, gotta get tires changed, gotta stay up on, paying my taxes. It's almost like it's designed. I knew I should have went the other way, man. And at this time of the day, there's nothing but hella traffic out here. The other way, I'd had at least a chance at getting past this part of the matrix. I'll cut over that way. But see, and then that's the other thing too, like with trucking, right? Say you get caught up in traffic, you can't really afford to be late to your next load because, once you're late, and this is how the brokers work. Oh, he's late. You know how many more people are on the road today? A lot of people. They ain't at work. They all been fired or laid off. So they out and about. There's more traffic. Rush hour is supposed to be like in the morning and the afternoon. You got more people out here on the road various times of the day because a lot of people, maybe they're out trying to find work or, maybe trying to do some errands. So you wind up about to mess up the delivery time, try to call and get another delivery time. It's a lot of stress, man. It's a lot of stress. So I try to tell my boy, and anybody that knows, I tell them, TQL, use caution. Use a lot of caution. They'll mess with you because you're new to the game, but use caution. Those factoring companies. Got to make sure that, and I told my boy, he's just guy's authority. I told him, I said, listen, man, do not go with tabs. He's like, tabs? I said, yeah, tabs. Remember, we used to drive for Trans Am back in the day. Me and him, that's where I met him at, over 10 years ago. We used to drive for Trans Am. Trans Am had tabs. Trans Am Financial Services, TAFS, tabs. Don't mess with them people, man. Do not let them, and if they send you any emails, yeah, I said it. If they send you any emails and they start harassing you because you just filed, just got your, because once you file all that stuff and you get your authority, you go on this, it's public information. everybody's reaching out to you. Your phone is blowing up left and right. It's almost a form of harassment. But that's how the industry is, right? The industry is like full of sharks, and they're coming after you. So, I guess I lost a couple viewers over here because I said that. One of them probably is a broker for tax. You never know. Oh, James, we've been following you ever since you used to pull loads for us. Get out of here, man. Stop following. I'll name a couple names. I remember those people too, man. He's slandering our company. I'm telling the truth. I am not the first one to have put you guys on blast. But yeah, don't mess with Transam Financial Services tabs. Why? They're non-recourse. No, they're not a non-recourse factoring company. And so, I've never had a problem with Snyder getting my money from Snyder. But I used to factor Snyder. I think it was Snyder that Tax was saying, well, we can't get our money from Snyder. They paid me, but Snyder didn't pay them. So the paperwork somewhere, somehow, man, look, y'all can track the trailer, you can track the load. I bet you have all the barcode on all of those items that were on the back of that truck. Those items were sold. That meant the delivery was delivered. The paperwork was even actually signed off through the app. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it GPS tracks you. So if you ever did Amazon, you know. As soon as you pull up to Amazon. Go this way, get out all this traffic. As soon as you pull up to Amazon, they know you there. Right? The scanners, they read your plate. Sign you in. So, for Snyder to not want to give Taft their money for a load that I delivered for them, I mean, yeah, Taft paid me, but then they went right back in and took the money. So factoring companies are like, I'd rather deal with a broker that I can do quick pay. You know, give it to me in 24 hours. Sometimes, you know, they can do it in the next 2-3 hours. And you want to go that route. I know a lot of carriers, new authorities and stuff like that. You don't got the money. You may have some money, but you still, you know, you may not have. Depends, like your fuel, how far away from home you are, how long you can wait before you got to get, you know, you get your next load to get you moving and stuff like that. You know, people got to send money home. Yeah, your insurance might be due. You know what I'm saying? You need that bread. So, that's why they have quick pay. And it could be 24 hours you can get the money. In some cases, within 2 hours. They'll charge you a little extra, but that customer, now you know that broker, you know, is doing business and is paying for your services. You don't got to go chase them around with a lawyer. And a lot of them, you could just look and see, like, they're very, you know, either they're credible or they're not. Sometimes, you know, I mean, I've been burnt. You say I ain't been burnt. I've been burnt. A lot of money. You know, a lot more money than I would have liked to have just slipped between my fingers. And then there's, you know, we had some invoices that we I'm thinking, we know, I was like, what happened with that load? What happened with that load? Did we get paid for this one yet? Did we get paid for that one yet? What you mean, no? I mean, almost that $15,000 worth of loads sitting around, just floating around. We ain't even invoiced or didn't get invoiced. I said we didn't invoice because I'm on the road going to trucking. So you wind up, you know what I'm saying, like having money come to you late. Sometimes those factoring companies, until you send a rate confirmation and then proof of delivery, ain't nobody working on getting your money. You might have made the delivery, but you still got to factor that to get paid. Now, once you opt into factoring with a particular customer, say for instance, like JB Hunt, if you're pulling JB Hunt loads, right? And you're using JB Hunt board, getting their loads, and you decide to factor with JB Hunt. Because the broker's gonna say, well, how do you want to get paid? Oh, we can do that 30. We can do quick pay. Do you use a factoring company? And then you're like, nah, I don't use a factoring company. So you decide to put the factoring company. Make sure the factoring company is not going to say, because see, the minute I don't want to factor a load, but I still want to quote for that customer, say for instance, JB Hunt is the customer, but I don't have a problem getting paid from them. So rather than factoring and paying the factoring company, look, load is 12, maybe 1,200, 1,800. Once the factoring company take their little cut, now you're supposed to get 1,800 for pulling that load. You only get, 1550. The factoring company took a percentage. So like, man, I'm tired of doing that, man. He's doing this thing way too much money for me. So now you're like, oh my man, no, you can't now you can't do loads for JB Hunt and just bill them directly and say, nah, I'm doing that 30 or quick pay. I'll let you take your 2%. And they're gonna say, unfortunately, you're under contract with the factoring company. So you can't put in a prerequisition, or you can't put in a requisition to get paid. The money has to go through the factoring company per contract stipulations, or else you'll be in breach of contract and everybody's gonna wind up in court. So you go back to your factoring company, task, say, hey man, one of my customers, JB Hunt, I ain't trying to factor them no more. I'm gonna just keep them in my pocket. The factoring company say, oh no. The only way you can do that is you gotta terminate your contract with us. And usually by that time, right, they're still trying to get some money that they gave you already for a load that you might have did for somebody else that probably didn't pay them because it's a whole net 30 thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they did give you money up front, but they're not going to release you out of that contract. So what I did was I said, okay, you know what? This the game. Learn the game. So I got a list of people that I factored with and a list of people that I directly bill. If money is still tied up over here with these people, say JB Hunt, Snyder, whoever else that I was doing, pulling from their load board, and I factored, and I'm checking to find out, did you pay these people or not? They're still saying they never got their money. And they will not release me out of this contract. And they're trying to take money from me as I bring money in, because they're claiming that you guys haven't paid them, and I gave proof of delivery. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have documented proof that we delivered that load. So here's the rate, pay the rate, and just give them their money. So you get tied up in that. You get tied up in that when you mess with factoring companies that are non-recourse. But you still want to make sure that if at any point in time you decide to take your customers and say, hey, I don't even want to do factoring with y'all no more. I found another factoring company that's charging a less percent. So we're gonna end our relationship. First, you got to make sure that everything has been paid up. That everybody that they factored did get, And then there's sometimes, we got to go after them in court. They're not going to give us. Now, either they're going to just come to you and say, well, look, I'll pay you the money. Just take the money out of my account. No, I can't do it like that. You can't do it like that. There's still going to be, that contract that they got to release you from. And then not only do they have to release you from it, they have to send a letter of release to all of those customers that were on that. Just take a piece of paper, draw a line down the center of the paper. All your customers to the left, you factored with them. They all have to receive a letter of that the contract that you are no longer bounded by contract agreement where factoring accounts receivable. You got to know the business, man, because you can't go back to them and do business with them. You can. They'll still do business with you. All them people will still do business with you. Sure, come get the load. But when it's time to get paid, they ain't going to send it to you. They're going to send it to the factory company. And as long as they looking at you like, well, you owe me, you're never going to get that money. They'll keep it all, not just the percentage that they're supposed to get. They'll keep it all. Thousands. Man, I had so much stuff tied up. I didn't realize it because we were doing so much. I had 2 trucks. We running 4 loads a day. Nothing like my boss that I'm working for now or people that I've worked for before would have fleets of 10, 12, 15, just imagine, right? They got plenty of loads a day that they're billing for. Well, I was billing, there was one time I was billing 4 loads a day. 4 loads a day. We ran 5 days a week. So that's about 4, 5, 10. That's about 20 loads. 4, 8, 12, 16. Yeah. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. About 20 loads a week. And that's if I didn't jump in the truck at night, because they work in the daytime. Pretty much by the time they got off, the 10-hour shift, they started early. Depends what time they picked up and where they was going. And by the time they got back, I could run a late night Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Local from RDU 5 to out to Greensboro. I could do 3 or 4 of them in one night. But so in the grand scheme of things, there would be loads that would get lost in the paperwork that never got requisitioned before. And I would be like, I'm thinking that, because you see money coming in, but that's when I developed that checklist system. You know what I'm saying? Like, because with the factoring company, when you invoice, you got to put 001, 002, 003, 004. Of course, just like anybody else, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep a record of all your, all your pickups and all your invoices. I started noticing, man, like, where is all these invoices at? And where they paid out? Then I kind of blew a ride, flipped out. Long story short, the factoring companies, they do not play fair. And they'll dub out with your money. They'll say they didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? So, this trucking game is off the hook, bro. I'm trying to tell you, man. You're better off getting an in-house leasing on, I would say. You're still independent if you lease on. So that way, they pay you for everything they're supposed to pay you for. But when it's just, you going through the broker, you don't got a real good broker. It's going, it can get ugly, man. And a lot of people are out here trying to maintain their company and trying to pay off their trucks, trying to feed their family. You know what I'm saying? And not making a profit. I'm not doing this for free. So I park my trucks, man. That's why I park my truck. I said, man, I'm not gonna pay nothing for nobody no more. Especially after that, my last load, then they sent it to the wrong bank. Oh my goodness. Now I got to go. I was like, man, we just updated our billing information. You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, we updated all that. Man, you gonna send my money to the other? Man, I said, you know what? It's it. It's it. I'm done. Then with the IFTA thing and all that stuff too, they didn't want to send me my IFTA cards or stickers. I was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I'm at a point now where, you know what? I don't even want to run for nobody. I sat home for a couple months, and then I had to get up and go out here and get a job. So here I am, you guys. And I appreciate the man for giving me the opportunity, big dog. If you watching, I appreciate that, man. I'm gonna ride out with you as long as I can. As long as I can, right? But yeah, this is if I could relocate, I want to relocate. We're looking to relocate. We're looking to move. If I could relocate, I don't think that they thinking like that. They still got their little one hub over there where they at. They had another hub somewhere else. I would relocate, kind of, either manage that spot, run that spot, or try to, orchestrate the daily activities over there as well as work. You know what I'm saying? They got different parts around different parts of the state. Maybe they should try to recruit some guys and stick some trucks. All you really got to do is just buy lease a piece of property where you can leave your trucks at. I'll do that because I'm trying to move over here. And I like the company. I don't really mind. I wouldn't mind, doing that for them. And, that would be better for me. You know what I'm saying? If I could get this crib that I want, or move to an area that I want that's convenient. I'm not just, it wouldn't be put me too far out. I would kind of do that. But like everybody say, man, you go get those trucks back up and running, man. You gotta do that. Look, I can do it. I can do it right now if I want to. I got the funds. See what I'm saying? I ain't doing that. I'm not going out here spitting in the wind, and I know it's windy out there. I talk to too many drivers. Nobody talking about it's a gravy train right now. Trump lied. He ain't bring down the diesel prices. I can see that on the news. Like, bro, I know I was doing it for long enough that I know, you know what I'm saying, when there's some fat on the bone. You know what? If these fuel prices don't come down to at least like $2, ain't no fat on the bone. You know what I'm saying? Because what you running for? You're running for free. How much they give you a mile? I'm not saying these guys are out here running for free. Some guys are getting decent rates for their miles. You know what I'm saying? And they're using every discount they can to get some fuel. You know what I'm saying? That's going to make the difference. And, you know what I'm saying? And help the profit margin. But, then it's going to come down to that insurance premium, man, before I go to get my trucks back registered. I don't have just one. I got more than one. And the trailer, like, they're going to hit me upside the head. So do I want to put them both back on the road or just one? I can afford one. I get the insurance for one, probably be about $750 for the month. Full coverage. $1 million cargo and, you know what I'm saying, liability, all that, bobtail. Probably be about $750, if that. Now, I can, for the month, yeah, one load, I'm going to have my insurance for the whole month. The rest of that is fuel and money in my pocket, which I take 20% of everything that I make and stick it to the side for breakdowns and just for profit. Really, it's for breakdowns. Nothing don't break down. Once I build up the kitty on that, 20% of everything goes to the savings. But really, 20% goes to the savings, and actually, 10 cents a mile, however many miles I'm doing, just keep putting that to the side. But definitely 20% on everything, guys. If you put 20% on what you gross, your company will grow. So don't wait for nobody to do it. As soon as that money hit the books, you can either go in yourself or you call up the daggone bank and say, hey, yeah, did that, yeah, okay, it just came through, yeah, all right. Do me a favor, take 20% of that and stick it over in my savings. 20%, yo. Do that on every day. I don't give a damn. You do that on every load you make, you're gonna grow. gonna grow. That's how I got my second truck so fast. The lady was like, "You're growing too fast." Nah, I'm blessed. I know what I'm doing, baby. I know these numbers. You know what I'm saying? This by design. This ain't just happening. You know. So that's about all I got for you today, man. Oh, one more thing. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Yes, we just over an hour, right? Yep. I'm trying to figure. I give you guys about an hour. High and low. Need to check some of these comments. Call me Sue again. I ain't messing with y'all. I'm about to miss my dad one turn, man. Luckily, I'm in the middle of nowhere, and there's no cars behind me. We are out here in the big old great state of North Carolina. About 5 miles down the road, we working. We paved this road right here. Jeez, let me tell you. I'm gonna check out some of the comments. You know what? Let me see this. Said what I think about Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton. My name sounds familiar, but it ain't ringing a bell this morning. Isaac Newton. Oh, what am I driving? I'm not driving a semi truck. I'm driving a dump truck right now. What up, Nav? AJ, what's going on? You know how the old heads are, man. You know what I'm saying? Man. You know what I'm saying? You know, haven't shaved in so many weeks. Don't care no more, you know? Bronco. So you guys, do me a favor, man. Help out with the algorithm. I got 4 likes, man. Just, if you can, throw a like up there for me. I appreciate that, man. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, man. Any of the content that I, put on here, especially if it has to do with, you know what I'm saying, your factoring. If you choose a factoring company, hopefully you didn't let the predatory factoring company that I named, who will, like, kind of predatory, call you and be, hey, man, we can help you get, we got fuel cards. These people are trying to sell you, I call them fraudsters. They're scam artists. You know what I'm saying? I would tell them, listen, now, after one time, look, I'm going to check around. There's a lot of factoring companies out there. If you continue to keep calling, you continue to keep on trying to, push your business upon me, right? I will have to call and make out a police report that you guys are harassing. And that's what they do. You shouldn't be getting no more than maybe a follow-up phone call from anyone who's trying to solicit anything to you, some business. You know what I'm saying? Where they're gonna profit, right? They keep on trying to pressure you to do business with them. That's harassment. That's illegal. All right. There's tons of other companies out here, and you should just do some research. But if these people ain't giving you an opportunity, and they keep on bombarding you with phone calls, that's predatory. I told my boy Tommy, I said, man, watch out for them, man. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, I know about tabs. I'm like, yeah, because we know we used to work for Trans Am. And they ain't nothing but the same daggone company. Trans Am's Financial Service, TAFS. They got their own bank. You know what I'm saying? They got a dealership. They'll get you a truck, and they'll lease it to you because they try months. I just wanted to try it out. My boy, I'm talking about Tommy, he signed up for 5 years with these people. He didn't even last that long. So he left there and he ended up going somewhere else to lease, and he finished the lease and he paid the truck off. So shout out to him. That's what's up. He got his title in hand. But I told him, I said, don't you dare sign up and do no 5-year lease with these fools, man. I don't encourage it, but sometimes we just gotta learn the hard way. And you gotta find the right factoring company. You gotta find the right leasing company. You gotta find the right broker. You gotta find the right customer. Hell, you gotta find the right driver and the right mechanic. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff, bro. Like, this is not a game. This is big business. Find the right dispatch. Find the right person to do your invoices so that you can get paid. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we count on some people to do some things to help us tie up, tie together all of our financial things while we're off delegating and doing other things, because that's what a boss does. He delegates, right? Doesn't sit around doing everything. He got people that he tell what to do. He delegates, right? Find the right people, man. Shake all the right hands. You know what I'm saying? Help push your business. You got to push that little boss. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a boss one day, or if you are a boss, and you got to make sure you can, you know what I'm saying, get that bag, that